accomplished in his life, which he will share with you here today. And he's an innovator. You know, we looked at that. He innovates. He's a creator. He's an ideas guy, and he takes those risks and jumps in and pursues his passions, and it's led to a life of success that he is here to share with us today. So let's have a warm welcome for Trent Kitsch.
Thank you, Nathan, for the kind words. And I'm really excited to be here today to introduce myself to all of you and pay my respects to being a School District 23 alumni and trying to contribute some inspiring messages to you. So at the end of today, I hope that you get to learn a little bit about business, a little bit about entrepreneurship, but more importantly, just feel good about being yourselves and know that the sky's the limit for you, you know, today and when you get out of school. So this is my first message specific to the group, you know, different is beautiful. And I really believe that. And I know from, you know, talking with Nathan and some other people here that a lot of people in this room are different. And I just want to applaud the difference in everyone. And what makes you all different is actually your special sauce. And I'll go into that a little bit later. So I'm also going to share a couple stories about entrepreneurship and Saxx Underwear. It's a company I started, if any of you have heard of it. And also share a few stories about people who are also different, just like me and just like you. So, you know, what does this guy know? And this is a little track record of my success and story. Not many years ago, I graduated from School District 23 in 1997. So sitting in your chair not too many years ago. And a lot of my success was rooted and born out of being from Kelowna. So I'm really proud to be from Kelowna and was born here, born and raised. I was an athlete once upon a time ago. I was a baseball player, which helped me eventually invent Saxx. I was fortunate enough to get drafted and get a scholarship to go to the University of the United States through sport, just like you can through music or art or many other scholarship opportunities that are there for you. I graduated from UNLV did my undergrad in business. Another reason why I'm here today to talk to you is when I went to high school, I didn't even know business was an opportunity that you could study at university. So then I worked for a period in the Caribbean actually, and worked in construction, something I still do. And then I went and got my master's in entrepreneurship at the University of Western Ontario. So 2-year program after my 4-year program to become an expert in entrepreneurship from the books, but then also to have that degree and letters by my name to also be a professional accreditation. But you can also learn a lot about business on the streets. So I'm going to talk to you about that as well. I invented Saxx Underwear. How many of you guys have heard about Saxx? That's great. That's great. So the story of Saxx, I'll tell you a little bit about that as well. And then, you know, most importantly, I'm a father, a husband. My wife, Rhea, is here. She's a School District 23 alumni as well. And I wouldn't be half as successful without Rhea, and we built Saxx together and Kitsch wines and things like that. So also now I do a little bit of public speaking. So today I'm doing this just for free because I want to share these jewels with you guys. And Rhea and I also bought you guys a nice lunch after. So my expectation is very low, so I don't have to perform too good so that's my track record, and I'm still building it today. So this is an important thing to just emphasize again, that being different is beautiful. I think that, you know, standing out and having different points of view or looking different or, you know, wanting to explore curiosity or whatever is the thing that makes you a little bit different, I think is actually something to really celebrate and to bring confidence in all of you. And I think a lot of times the we in our creative arts or in many things we do get programmed out. So you guys are actually really amazing people, that you have some really cool thoughts and sparks and ideas, or you make things with your hands, or you make things with paint, or you're creative people. So I just want to say that's really special, and don't let that be lost. But also, I'll talk about it later too, set that sail or point that creativity and point that energy in a great direction, and it can be really magnificent what can become of it. So, being different is confidence. I think everyone here has to be confident just to be different. Or, when I was starting Saxx, talking about underwear and innovating underwear that hadn't been changed for 100 years, that was different. And I got told no many times and laughed out of lots of rooms where people thought it wasn't a good idea or it was a crazy idea. So just remember to yourselves that, again, being different is actually, you're all very confident, and there's a lot of power in that. Then your special sauce. So I speak to, like my wife again, she's got an amazing skill set. She speaks 3 different languages. Her special sauce is uniquely hers. She can do things that I can't do. My abilities are different than my partner's abilities in business. So I'm on teams all the time, and I work with lots of people, and I'm good at public speaking, or I'm good at thinking about things 3 or 5 years down the road, where someone else is really skilled at something else. So my special sauce is different than yours and yours, but uniquely, all of you combined have something really special about you. And if you can think about, I encourage people to think about, what is the websites you go to in your spare time? What is the things you do in your spare time? Because that's the things you're into by nature and what you're nurtured to do. So maybe it's music, maybe it's these things where people don't think I can have a career in that industry. For me, it was fashion. And I ended up creating a really great business, and have set myself up with financial independence through being creative in different industries that I didn't even have any experience in, but just an interest in. So again, I'm just gonna keep reading this one, but you guys are all really special. So being different is special. I'm different because of the things that I think about and have done. And you can think about it as a numbers game. How many people start their own business? It's less. More people maybe find a career working for other people. You can get a lot of experience working for other people at the start. I encourage people to try whatever their interests are as much as they can, to learn more about different businesses and things. But the goal for financial independence is what Nathan was speaking to. When you're done school, you want to buy whatever car you want to buy. You want to buy the cool new leather jacket. You want to go to Greece. These things are all possible when you have financial independence, and you can get financial independence from yourself. So I'm just encouraging you guys to believe in yourselves first, and that anything's possible with those sets in mind. Personal development, goals and values. I personally will share that I've been setting goals since I was around your age, and just writing things down. And it can feel intimidating sometimes, like, what's my goal? What's my passion? Things like that. But if you just write down on a piece of paper, the people you'd like to meet, or maybe a place you'd like to go, how much money. It was for me, like, save $2,500 to go to Europe at that time, which was more money than it is today. But little goals like that, you don't even know you're setting goals, but now you're just setting yourself up in a direction. So that speaks to work smart and work hard and set the sail. And what your advantage is right now is being a youth. So where you're started right now, if you head off on this tangent here, when you're my age, you're going to end up over there. If you just kick it just a little bit to the right, you're going to end up in a much different spot in many years. So I encourage youth to think about where you're setting your sail, because the world all has the same wind, it all has the same weather, it's going to affect us all the same. But where we're headed and where you're thinking about setting your personal sail is really important today. And it doesn't mean you can't change it, but it just means think about where you're setting your sail and where that's taking you in your future. And where I'm setting my sail with Ria is a really beautiful place, you know? So think about your place and where you want to go and set that sail. And then believe in yourself. So important, because you know truly that's where it all is going to start, in whatever direction you head off, and you have family and you have friends and people that believe in you, but ultimately, you know, try to believe in yourselves. And I believe in you guys, but make sure you feel like you believe in yourselves, because there's so much possible for you. Okay, so we're just going to talk about a few different people and how they use their difference to their advantage. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Richard Branson. Has anybody heard of Richard Branson? Couple hands. So he's a famous entrepreneur. He's the founder of the Virgin Group. It's an airline, and it started as he liked music and records. So he started with a record shop in England in the late 70s, and then he started selling more records. And then he started signing artists and so on and so forth. That's how his nucleus started. And he has ADHD. You know, personally, I have ADHD. There's many people who are entrepreneurs who use it as their super strength. And I think that anybody who has unique characteristics or opportunities to take the thing that maybe some people think is a negative or a disadvantage, and know that there's people out there that have actually used it to their advantage, and it is their secret sauce, and it's part of mine as well. So that's a really good example. Steve Jobs, I think most people have heard of Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. And just on that topic, I want to watch a little video with you guys for a second here. Okay, tech difficulties, no problem. Here we go.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. But the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Pretty cool, right? Some really inspirational people there. And you know, some of the products that he's designed are just because of that he had OCPD. You know, you think about the detail in the iPhone or the things that we all enjoy today. It's because he took his difference and turned it into his superpower. And then this artist here at the end, I don't know how many people have heard of Claude Monet, but you know, one of the most famous painters ever. He had a suicide attempt at the start of his career, and just to example, you know, it wasn't successful, but obviously he was feeling such a way at such a time that it was bleak for him, and you know, he changed his life around, and if that attempt would have been successful, you know, his art career would have never happened. So just want to bring that out, and then also remind people to feel better about themselves. And if anyone's ever thinking about, you know, dark things, to talk to your friends and family and reach out to people, because that also is something that a lot of people don't talk enough about. I emphasize that. So there's some positive examples. If you look online and just search, this type of thing, the list goes on and on and on. I could speak to this for an hour with different successful people. So, this is my moment of one of my mentors, or somebody I look up to quite a bit, is someone named Jim Rohn, and he speaks to this. Life is like the seasons. So, sometimes it's winter times and you've got a broken heart, and the car won't start and things aren't going good. But sometimes it's springtime and the flowers are coming out, and the seasons are going your way. And this is that we only have about 80 springs. So, I'm 40 years old. You guys, again, to your youth, have many more springs, but I just emphasize that there is a finite amount of time on us all, and just to recognize that life goes up and down, and that there's many springs ahead for you all, and stay very positive about the future ahead. So, entrepreneurship in business. This is what I'm known for. This is what I've done, and has allowed me to, do many of the things that I really want to do in my life. And so entrepreneurship, really at its core, does anybody want to throw out some entrepreneurship, what it means to them, or what the word means maybe? Any entrepreneur? Well, it has different definitions, but my definition is just problem recognition. So if you recognize problems and you can think about creatively what maybe the solutions are, then the opportunity is present. So basically, problem recognition. When I was fishing in the Queen Charlotte Islands with my dad for like 3 days, I was uncomfortable on the boat. And because I was a back catcher back in the day in baseball, I just started to think, how could I reinvent men's underwear to prevent contact and be more comfortable? And I had this vision in my mind of the Saxx side panels. And when I went back to school that year, I hired a fashion designer for $1,500, and we started working on the prototypes. And then I went to the Royal Bank and told them I needed $20,000 for a student loan, which I, needed for some working capital to pay for my tuition at the time. And so, put $1,500 into fabrics and patterns, and I had enough to make 200 pairs. So the first run of Saxx was 200 pairs, and I sold them out of the cafeteria at the University of Western Ontario. And then I'd go down to Toronto on the weekends, Queen Street West, and I'd sell them on the sidewalk out of my van and in front of Lululemon. And my wife and I used to do it on Robson Street. And so the original moment of Saxx was just problem recognition. And I encourage any of you guys to think about that as a way to seek solutions and find opportunities. Entrepreneurship is also a philosophy. And it's a philosophy, again, about having the right attitude and really trying to create a world for yourself and depending on yourself. So it is, in some people's view, more risky, but as comes the risk, comes the reward. So it's a balance there. And then, one thing all entrepreneurs have is a certain curiosity about a topic or a thing. So they'll really dive in and try to understand what is, if it's skateboarding, then that's something you're curious about. Then there's, many, many people who have had very successful careers in many different silos of skateboarding, as an example. Attitude, the positive attitude is going to get you so far, and really just being persistent and not giving up. So those are some of the principles of entrepreneurship. And so a question I get asked very often is, where do I start, or how do I start? And then I just encourage people to understand there's two ways in business. There's goods and services. And so a service doesn't cost you really much to start. That's an example of, buying a shovel and moving people's snow off their driveways, and you can make a couple $100 today, as an example. A good would be Saxx Underwear. So it costs you $10 to make something, and then you sell it for $20 or $30, and then you can make another thing. So that's basically the two big silos of business. But if any of you have any questions, you can email them to me specifically through Nathan, and I'm happy to answer any specific questions about business. But that's really ultimately what I wanted to share with you guys today. Just a couple stories. My attention span is short, probably like a lot of yours. And just wanted to say, inspire you guys to believe in yourselves and girls, and that anything's possible. And I, as well as all of your teachers and everyone here, are here to support you guys in all your dreams. All right?